Welcome back to the life of Sadie Nichole, where we talk about life and the beautiful journey that it is. And I am Sadie Nichole. If you are just now tuning in to this, we're continuing our journey. So that's where we're at with that. I didn't really get to finish all the details of that, so we're going to go ahead and continue. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out with me. We are live right now here on, Rumble, YouTube, and Twitch. And this podcast will be available on Spotify Monday, somewhere in the afternoon on Monday. If you'd like to find me on the internet, I've got a lot of links in the description below. I've got an Instagram and the Truth Social and all of that jazz. You are tuning in and you enjoy the show, go ahead and hit the like button and the subscribe button. If you do subscribe, if you're already subscribed, remember to the little notification bell, because I'm creating things. I'm going to be releasing them soon, so you'll be able to be notified when I do that, just relatively soon, I would say. All right, so let's get to it. We are still on expansion of self. Yeah, I love it. So before we continue on here, let's talk about life currently. Cheers to life, by the way, because life is super rad. It's the only way that we're able to refine our character and be all that we want to be and all that we want to become. So yeah, let's see. So basically this week, just a lot of working on stuff. I'm gonna put it out there soon, eventually. It's taking a little longer than I wanted it to, but that's okay. And then of course cars, really rad cars. Got to see those actually today, so that was really cool. Oh man, there was this SS. I don't know. It's good. It's good stuff. The weather getting very hot. Definitely feels like July, so that's wonderful. I hope life where you are is magnificent and wonderful, and that you're making beautiful memories with the ones that you love, and that you're having beautiful, wonderful moments, because that's all we get to take with us, you know? So let's see, where we're at here is the journey of self, right? The journey of self and how important it is, which I really agree with. I'm trying to get used to my microphone and my camera here, so bear with me. Let me move this. So, the journey of self. I'm a firm believer that the self, that everything around me is a reflection. It's a reflection of myself. It's a reflection of where I am inside of myself. So myself is so vast. It's like the size of wherever I'm at. Or expanded from that, considering we're talking about expansion, it's a whole planet. So myself is so big that it's a whole planet size. Or even keep expanding, it's a whole universe size. But currently, I am residing within myself on this little place called Earth, which I love. You know, actually, I think about it like this. Okay. And I think I've said this before, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it again. All right. So imagine, just use our imagination. It's such an awesome tool. And so use our imagination and imagine, I'm gonna do it right now. So I'm gonna imagine that I am an immortal being. I have an immortal life, and I'm I have an eternal life, and I have my life has no ending, and I am timeless. Like, I live for all of time. Like, time, I just like, boop, just like step out of time. Time means nothing because I'm timeless, right? I'm eternal. Now, think about that. It's like, oh, that's the easy one, right? I just want to like learn all kinds of things, right? I want to learn, I want to grow. But ultimately, what's really going on? Even if I had like 1,000 years, even if I had 1,000 years, what would I be doing with like learning? Okay, first of all, personally, I would learn all of the sciences. Oh yeah, and then I would master all of the arts, right? Because then, if I know all the sciences and I know all the arts, then I can like create whatever I want. Which I would probably try to create a universe. Just being honest. So I would spend all the time learning all of the arts. I would spend all the time learning all of the sciences. And if I knew everything about all the sciences, if I knew everything about all of the arts, then what? I mean, even if that took 10,000 years for me to do, then what? Right? Okay. Hmm. All right. Easy enough. I would use those skills to build me a spaceship. Right? A self-sustainable little spaceship that's probably looks a lot like a planet. And then I would travel the universe. Right. So I would travel the universe and explore and learn even new things if there was ever any planets that had habitable place or whatever. I guess inhabitable if I was immortal. Either way, so I'd figure all that stuff out. Okay, so then I spend like let's say 10,000 years on each planet that I come to and do that, but still I have an eternal still I'm eternal. It's like, "Oh, now what?" You know? So, I thought about this a lot. It's like, well, then I would probably find the coolest planet in the universe, like, that has everything that I like, and that's the most beautiful, and then I would just, like, go vacay there for the rest of eternity, and then it's like, okay, but how can you really enjoy that if you're already like you know that you are an eternal being? And I'm like, I'd probably then make myself forget. To some extent, I would make myself forget that I was an eternal being so that I could really enjoy my vacay on like whatever. Because if I travel the universe, I would know which planet's the best one. Right. So then I would like, okay, so I'd make myself forget somehow because if I knew all the sciences, then I would know how to make myself forget. I'd make myself forget so that I could enjoy my vacay on the raddest planet in the universe. And but then I'm like, yeah, but if you make yourself forget that you're an immortal, then you're not gonna have a good time because then you're gonna have to live a mortal life thinking that you're mortal and then start all over again. Don't think I thought this one all the way through. So then I'm like, all right, well, so then I'll only make myself partially forget that I'm an eternal being. Right? So then at some point through my growth of my mortal life, I will jog my own memory to remind myself that I am an immortal, but not have the tens of thousands of millions of years of like memories, right? From the vastness of the universe. Just only that I'm an eternal being only. So like you're an eternal being, but you're chilling. Like you're on vacay in the coolest like planet in the universe. Like, oh, okay, I think I can get down with that. so so that's kind of like from that state of mind, that's where I live my life. That's where I like exist on earth. Like that's why to me like the self journey is important. That's why like healing is important to me and nutrition is important to me, and basically the overall quality of life as a human being is, like, super important to me. Hold on one second. So, these things are important to me because if I'm chilling here on, like what if this is, like, the coolest planet in the whole universe? Like, what if this is the most beautiful planet that has, like, all the things and is, like, amazing, right? Like, out of the whole entire universe, like, what if? You know? I stay in that kinda, like, what if state of thought, and that I am an eternal being having a vacay on a cool planet, like, I kinda, like, stay right there. And while I'm there, I'm like, "Okay, so there's 2 main things that I wanna do then. 1, make memories, right? Or make moments count and become memorable. So if I make moments count and become memorable, then that is, like, a beautiful memory. So, number 1, and sub to number 1, make beautiful memories. Okay, so it's, like, 1, like, in half, right? Okay, then number 2 would be, um, overall quality of life. Okay, well, my character is more like lightweight, live lightweight, like, not too many variables, like, as simply as possible, because you never know, right? And so, like, so what's the bare minimum? And then, like, make that like, add to the bare minimum and make that, like, quality of life equal as close to 100% rad as possible. So those are my so it's, like, also 2.5, right? So, overall quality of life number 2, overall quality of life trying to reach, like, 100%, right? And then in that is, like, mental health, like, physical health, being, like, nutrition, like, how I feel inside of this body, right? Like, how I feel inside of this body, like, inside of this mind, how I feel inside of this body, like, with this heart, and how I feel inside of this body, like, physically, how I feel inside of this body. Like, I don't wanna do things that make me feel like, I don't wanna do that. I because that means my quality of life has just, like, gone down, like, I don't want that. So, in this state of mind of, like, I'm an eternal being, but I'm rocking and rolling on this really rad planet, like, on vacay, okay, I wanna make memories, and I also want to have a really excellent quality of life overall, to where nobody can shake my joy, right? Nobody can shake my peace, and nobody can shake to where I have confidence in my ability to, like, overcome obstacles, or I have confidence in my ability to overcome crisis or whatever, right? But, like, it won't stop me from achieving those 2 things, right? Which is make moments beautiful memories and have my overall quality of life be as close to 100% as I can get. And then from there, it's like, "Okay, how can I focus on number 1, making moments memorable?" Well, I have to be in the present moment, right? So, what does that require? Well, that requires not living in the past, first of all. Like, number 1, not living in the past, and that's kinda hard, right? So, that requires for me to focus on mental health. Mental health has to do with healing, and I have been through a lot of, traumatic things, right? So, I have to heal from those traumatic things so that I don't live in the past, so that I can be in the present moment, so that I can achieve number 1 goal, which is to make beautiful memories, right? Because when we as people have said, as I've experienced, facing, like, near death experiences, stuff like that, like, that's the last thing that happens. All the memories flash, right? So it's like you review everything that you did, so it's like, that's the last thing that you take is those memories, those beautiful memories. So oh, hello, chat. Hold on one second here. Katara, hi. And underrated part of having good quality of life is having a good environment. Because let me tell you, it makes a huge difference. Yeah, but a good environment also includes, um, like, company, like, who who we keep as company, right? Not to be judgmental or anything like that, but to understand to have boundaries. So, if you are your own home, right? Like, you're gonna have, like, a security system, like, you're gonna have walls, right? You're not gonna let everything from the outside that may be dangerous or something like come all up into your little slice of heaven, your little zone, of awesome, your little bubble of heaven, whatever you wanna call it, like, you're not gonna do that, right? So and hello, long time no speak. I was thinking, like, Katara, that I remember that name. Hi. Um, so good point, Katara. Like, so, yeah, like, and so that still goes to, like, the self journey, and it still goes to, like, self-reflection, that whatever is within me, even if something within me is toxic, it's going to be this is based on my observation. This is just, like, life scientist here, like, just, like, observing, like, the function of this reality, right? Like, "Whoa, hey, there's something toxic within me because I have somebody toxic outside of me, like, right in front of me, and I can tell that they're toxic. That means if I can tell, that means it's within me. So I gotta you know what I mean? Like, I gotta heal that inside of myself, or there's something toxic inside of me because I have literally a poisonous something, like, right here in front of me, like, maybe a poisonous drink or a poisonous food or something like okay, that's so weird. Um, I can't do 1 or 2. I can't achieve 1 or 2, which would be I can't be in the present moment, so how am I supposed to make, like, memorable moments if I've still got, like, toxicity and stuff, like, in my thought processes? Then I'm really not making memorable moments, I'm making potentially toxic moments. And then number 2, I can't have a high, like, 100% quality of life, I can't, because I having poison inside of my quality of life makes it lesser. makes it a lesser than highest quality of life as possible. So then it's like, I have to. Like, I don't have to, but if those are my 2 goals based on my perception of reality, um, then I want to for myself because it's like an act of love for myself. Like, I want myself to have beautiful memories. I want myself to have an overall excellent quality of life, right? I want that for myself. So I want to do what I need to do, be super honest with myself, right? To help myself identify what it is within myself that I'm like, "Oh, that's a toxic thought process," or like, "Oh, I believe a lie inside of my heart, like about love or about family or about life or something." Like I believe something inside of my heart and it hurts. Like sometimes I can physically feel it actually in my heart. So, and that's that hang on. So that's like for me, that's part of the self journey is like breaking that down in that thought process right there and looking into my own heart and being like, is there anything in here that like is stopping me from having like a good quality of life overall? Like, is there anything in here that's like stopping me from being able to be in the present moment so that I can focus, being romantic basically for myself? Like, I guess it's being thoughtful or whatever, but like to be in the present moment and make beautiful memories or beautiful moments. Like that's being romantic for myself. Like that's loving myself enough that I would take the steps to make my moments beautiful for me because then it's like creating a treasure or something like creating like creating a jewel or something for myself. Let me look at this, Katara. We must live in the present, learn from the past, and look forward to the future. It's all part of living. Me just saying stuff because it sounds cool in my head. Thank you for sharing, Katara. I love it, and I agree. And for me, I look forward like I don't know what's going on here. Hold on. So I'm looking forward like, all right, looking forward to basically a hypothetical. I'm an immortal, eternal being, and I'm gonna fully realize that again. That's my hypothetical. That's my future. That's my extremely distant future. Maybe it's not so distant. Hmm. But just for conversation's sake, let's say that's my extremely distant future. So then backtrack from there to my present moment, and then it's like I can fill in the blanks to the little mini futures between here and there. And then my past, it's like I don't wanna I mean, there's a lot about my past that I wish I could forget, but I don't because I became who I am because of my experiences, and as intense as they were, it's like, but that shaped me. It refined my character, and I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry for that. Like, I'm okay with that? That again is like that helps my overall quality of life because I'm like, okay, it helps me make memories then because then I'm like, oh, I love me the way that I am, and I deserve to give myself like cool moments in this present moment. Like just make it just a little bit more romantic for myself? And I do that. I I f I stop and smell the flowers. I see the hearts in everything, literally. Like dried gum on the sidewalk, I can find a heart in it, and I can find hearts in the clouds, I can find hearts in doing this helps me to make my life romantic for my right? Like, it helps me make my life, my moments, even if my moment is just walking down the street because I need to go get this thing, like, it makes it magical. you know, looking for, spotting, or identifying because, again, with reflection, okay, I can see the reflection of the negative things, and being a human being, I'm more inclined to look at the negative things because I'm a fixer, so I wanna look at the negative things to fix them, but I also can look at the beautiful things and the positive things, and I can identify those things as a reflection as well. So if I'm starting to see hearts everywhere around me, then that must mean I reached a place inside of myself surrounded by hearts. So if I'm within myself and I'm in heart central, then I'm gonna see hearts everywhere, right? If I'm inside of myself and I'm in poison central, then I'm gonna see poison everywhere, right? Because it's gonna be a reflection. Like now that goes back to like the reticular activating system of the brain that's just like how it works. Like it's gonna validate whatever the belief system is, the core belief system. I have a problem with forgetting my past and just moving forward because I don't like getting bogged down by the negative in it, or maybe that's just how I learned to cope with it. I did that. I did that, and then it caught up with me. I did that for a long time, and then when I slowed down and just, like, chilled, all of that caught up with me to where it's like I had to actually, like, open up this dark room or this dark giant closet, and I had to scrub it, and I had to use some freaking Clorox, and I had to scrub it. I had to clean it completely, like, all the cobwebs, all the dirt, dust, other things, okay, just had to spick and span it? So, because it was still technically even though I didn't feel it bogging me down, it was still technically bogging me down in my decision making, but I wasn't able to see it. So but after clearing that out, then I was able to see like, "Oh, that's why I was making those that's why I made those choices. Oh, that's why I made that choice. Oh, it's because of that." But I didn't feel it, but it was still there. So it's like making peace with the darkness of my past, which my past is extremely terrifyingly dark. And um so that's that but I had to like make that decision of like I love myself so much that I want to do this. This is this is what I want to do because I deserve it. Right? Um Like, identifying what about myself needs improvement, which I can be honest with myself in that, and I'm like a builder, a fixer, an engineer, like, I am an innovator, and so I kinda just, like, do that to myself. Like, I do it with other stuff, I like to build systems and all that stuff, but, like, I do that to myself too. It's just how it is. Letting go of the old ways to embrace new ones, yeah, like as I was letting go of, like, some of the toxic things that like, thought processes or, like, actually toxic decision making that came from thought processes, that came from, like, traumatic events. It's like a multi-level thing, and I clean all that out, and then I'm like, "Oh, man, I got all this space, like, what do I do with this?" And so then I was like, "Hmm, I got to decide what to put there." New ways of thought, I guess, or, like, new habits, habitual behaviors, new decision-making processes, and new processes of thought, so I did that on my own just to kinda 'cause there was the space. It's just like cleaning out a house and you're like, "Oh, now it's all now I need furniture." Like, I need a painting right there, and then so I did that for myself, like, I'm the house, so I cleaned everything out, it was gross, and then I'm like, "Oh, now I need to put, like, paintings on the wall. Actually, let me paint the wall first." So, identifying what is within placed by placed by outside sources. Some of the stuff, like, some of the traumatic events, it's just like, that's life. And some of the thought processes and trauma came from, like, outside influence, right? So then that's when I really realized, like, I really need to mind my mind. Like, I need to really understand what like, who and what I'm letting, like, put stuff inside of here, you know? Like, "Hey, nah, like, none of that. I'm good on all that because I already know what that does. Because I already had to go through the process of, like, removing all that stuff because it was causing decay, right? It was like rotting inside of my mind, like, and it was causing, like, decision making from rot. Like, I'm good. I don't need all that. It's good, right? More focused on, like, life type of stuff that's not rotting. I'm all for, like, recycling, okay? But, also, it doing this whole entire thing has, like, helped me to identify, like, if there's actual agendas going on, you know what I mean? Like, "Whoa," you know, I was not previously aware that there would be, like, agendas either towards me as, like, specifically or completely generally speaking, like, me just, "This is my class, this is my da 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 da," like, and there's an agenda toward me being in this pool of numbers of people, right? Like, I can identify that now because I've removed all of the stuff that, like, didn't need to be there or whatever, like so that was so beneficial for me 'cause I feel like I can see clearly and it's like, "Wow, hey, it's nice." "Oh, hey, look, it's a booby trap," and I can actually really I can see it. I'm gonna step over that. It's crazy when you find that one thing that just shines light on everything. Like, for me, for a long time, I was supposed to make everyone else happy. I myself became sad. Oh, I totally ugh, man, I understand that it made me cry. I'm like, I understand so much. Because I realized I gave all my joy and happiness away, right, and then you don't have any for yourself. You have this full cup, and you give everybody a little bit of it, and then you go to give yourself, and you have none, and then you look to them to also to give to you as you gave to them, and they never intended to do that in the first place, plus they don't know how, so they're like, "Oh my gosh." Right? So, yeah, I see, that's why I had to, like, just really zoom in and concentrate on my self-healing because I don't wanna do that anymore. I want to be able to have a full cup and teach others how to have a full cup by showing them how I have a full cup, right? That I don't need to pour my cup out to anyone because they themselves are, you know, a living for their own self, for their own cup, right? Like, it's that whole, feed a man a fish and you feed him for a day, but if you teach a man to fish, then you feed him for a lifetime because then they can go fishing whenever they want. They can have as many fish as they want. It's kinda that same exact thing and ah, I think the heart didn't even make them happy anyway. Like, they still found a reason to not be happy anyway, so it was very not it didn't last very long. Like, it wasn't long lasting. I had to figure out that. That was so hard for me to it's so heartbreaking for me to figure that one out. Ugh, cheers. Cheers to self-growth and learning how to have our own joy. But when I shared that hold on, I gotta go back because I realized I gave all my joy, happiness away, but when I shared that some love back to myself, my cup started overflowing. Right, because then you realize how loving you are, and you turn that towards yourself. And, see, right now, because 'cause I'm a mother, so I have to teach my children these things as well. But I also have to learn these things also with children. It's like, I try to do things to make my children happy, okay, and I do make them happy, very happy for, like, 5 minutes, and then they're not happy anymore because they've already moved on to something. I'm like, "Wow." this is what I did before I even had children, like, this is what I did with everybody all the time, and they did the exact same thing. Their happiness would last 5 minutes, and then they would already find a new thing to not be happy about and completely forget what I had done to contribute to their happiness just 5 minutes ago, right? So, I had to realize that with my children, and I'm like, "But they can't help it. Maybe no one else can either," right? So then, like, it was kinda like realizing that, "Okay, you know what? You know who really needs, like, all of this love that I have to give? Me." Man, like, I deserve joy, and I can give myself joy for more than 5 minutes, like or can I? Like, am I gonna do the same thing where I, like, make myself happy and then 5 minutes later, I'm already looking for something that's, not wonderful or something like that? Like, so, again, with the journey of self, like, figuring out figuring that out for myself, because that's the thing, like, that's why I focus on quality of life and trying to do the minimum because the the truth is I'm gonna be left with myself, right? So, no matter what I have Can you see me now? Is it working now? We back. Okay, cool. So, I don't know what you heard last, but thank you for telling me. So, what I do is I break all of this down to get to like the most fundamental version of being human, because it's like, can I get to the most fundamental and foundational level of being human, and can I still have a good time with the bare minimum? Or do I need all of this to have a good time? Do I? Because I really, maybe other people are different than me, but I love freedom. And to be free means to not be dependent. And I don't want to be dependent on a bunch of things in order for me to have a good time. It doesn't go very well for me, because I'm like, because I feel like it's some kind of like heavy thing that's just like, I have to have this to have a good time. No, man. It can't be that way. Like, no, please tell me it's not that way. Because I don't know. That doesn't, to me, that's just not freedom. It's not. I like to be where I feel like I just at any moment, for any reason and for no reason at all, I can have a good time. And you know what I mean? So, all right. We're going to move on to the next thing here. Thank you for being here. If you are just tuning into my podcast, this is The Life of Sadie Nichole, and I am Sadie Nichole. We are live here on Rumble, YouTube, and Twitch. If you'd like to talk to me, ask me questions, or find out what I'm up to, go ahead and find my Discord server. The link is in the description. Accept the invite, and you will have arrived in my universe. If you use Substack or Medium, find my blog and subscribe, The Life of Sadie Nichole. And I'll be adding a lot more to those things later. Soon, or relatively soon. We're going to take a short break, and we will be right back. So stay tuned. Right? Yep. Gotta learn how to break code, LOL. Delete! Hey. What you doing today? Working hard? Taking care of your kids? Building your company? Building somebody else's company? What are you doing today? I'm doing all of those things, plus studying. Okay. This right here, and right.
Um.
Deep inside your head, okay, there's a little voice inside your head, okay? And it's called Little Steven, okay? And he's just mean all the time, okay? And he's just a bully, okay? And he's just an asshole, okay?
Yeah.
And you hear him all the time, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you fucking refuse to let this guy out, okay? But next time but when you talk to me, unleash Little Steven, okay? Harass me. Harangue me.
Why?
Say all the little
Why?
things that Lil Steven it would tell you, okay?
No.
And how Lil Steven just let him out.
No.
Okay?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes,
No,
that
no,
is how
no.
you will get through to me,
No,
Sadie.
No, I'm
That's
not
how you will
gonna-
get through to me.
I'm not
I
going
want-
to verbally assault you, Steven.
Yes, that's what I listen, okay?
Oh
That's
my God.
see, that's why you're not a hero. You're not willing to do what it takes in order to get through to someone, okay?
System that's corrupt eventually goes down, then everything that's on top of it also goes down. So there has to be something else. Well, me, it's time to get used to looking at you. Like, yeah. It took a few years for me to be okay with like looking in the mirror because I'm like, ah! Like.
Every other villain. And you know what? There's always going to be me. There's always going to be the character like me. If I'm not here, a different character that will be just like me will come up. No, will always be about life and freedom. Freedom.
Oh my God.
They deserve it. They deserve the opportunity to build their character, to be courageous, to write their own story. They have that.
Yeah,
they should
sure.
be given that freedom. Period.
It's the exact same story that's been perpetuated throughout the entire time. It's gonna. It's
then.
Part of the same
well.
cycle, Sadie.
Oh,
you're
well.
not. You're not breaking the wheel at all. You're just feeding into it. Okay. Like, do you know why the criminals fucking win?
We just
do you know
got
why
stuck
they're,
out here. Oh.
Do you know why the criminals keep on succeeding, Sadie? Do you want to know why? Because I'll fucking tell you why. Because we want them to. Okay.
May peace be with you, and may all of the seeds of love and kindness you've planted in your life, may it return to you starting today and every day moving forward for the rest of your life.
And that's just a microcosm of the thing. It's like, damn it, I just want to be selfish and be able to do this all by myself. But I can't do that, so I have to help people. It's just a pain in the ass. Ugh. Rah, rah, hey, look at this. We're helping each other out. Oh, man, look at us.
Yeah,
You started the fucking thing before everybody was here, Sadie.
Oh, sorry.
God fucking damn it. You're just God, what? You know, How do you think boss fights are started, Sadie?
thing. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next topic, which is garden. So this is this is like the best analogy that I can use for myself. And I do use it for myself. It just helps me understand. Thank you for letting me know that I'm frozen. It helps me understand what I'm doing with myself in terms of my self-growth. Hold on a second. So I as an individual, this goes a little hand in hand with expansion and what I was saying before in a previous podcast, but it's a difference in an individual self and a self expanding and producing more of self for the universe, right? And I think everything in the universe does it, but using plants is probably the best way for me to kind of like have a visual. And I would say it's the difference of being a seed, like an individual, and just like exploding self. Like a seed, just like a seed explodes to become something more. And not all seeds do it, just like, butterflies. Like, not all caterpillars actually become butterflies. So some of them just stay caterpillars for the rest of their life. And some seeds just get eaten by birds, right? or other things, right? They just stay seeds. That's it. They just stay an individual. And that's okay because that also serves a purpose, in the circle of life and everything like that. But I myself don't want to be a seed forever. I would rather explode myself and become something different. Transform myself into something else. And in that, I view my own mind and my whole self as a garden. And then with my mind, I would say that it's many seeds. And in the same way of like cleaning my house out and like removing all the stuff that doesn't need to be there, in the same way, cleaning out like finding a garden, it's like, oh, here's your plot of land that you just bought, and like you can leave it as is, or you can like clean out all the stuff here that maybe there's like plants that are like poisonous or whatever, like just remove everything, get to the dirt. That's what I do with myself. I get to the fundamentals. I get to the foundation, be just the soil, and till it, like and make sure there's nothing really in it. Make it nice and soft, and then it is ready for seeds. So it's like break down myself, break down all the programming, break down all of everything from the past and from outside influences, and just break it all down to being the most basic, like, human. Then from there, then, add the seeds that I want to grow, and so that's how I view myself, that's how I view my mind. It's like, "Oh, like, oh, look at my beautiful little strawberry plant," and then, like, the strawberry plant is growing, and then there's, like, oh my gosh, like, I just noticed there's, like, a poisonous thorny plant growing right next to it, and it's like choking it out, like you're gonna start choking it out, like I gotta remove this without harming my little strawberry plant, and make sure that the soil is soft so that I can remove this poisonous plant and not be pricked by the thorns that might have poison on them, right, that would actually harm me in the process of trying it. So it's like applying compassion. Because to me, water is compassion, like, applying compassion to it for the soil to be, like, softer so that it could, remove all the root system and everything so it doesn't grow back, like, who knows how it even got in there, like, you know? Who knows? But either way, it was growing right next to it anyway, and you like take it out of there. Um, so for me, thinking on this like multidimensional level from like future, present, and past, and like way into the distant future of like immortality and like eternal life, and like from mortality, it's multidimensional, and so I consider myself like this multidimensional garden, and I'm the gardener. I'm the seeds. I'm the gardener that's putting the seeds in there, and I'm the dirt. So that's multi-dimensional, multi-layer, multi-level, So it's like I need to be from all of those points of view. I need to be from the view of being the dirt, make sure that it's enriched with nutrients and make sure that it's not too much sand, too many stones or rocks in there, right? And from that point of view, right? But I also need to be from the point of view of like, I'm the gardener, I'm looking at the dirt. How does it need to change? What's the lighting like? Da, 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 right? And then these are the seeds that I want to use. These ones have to be planted at this time, or So being all those different from those different points of view, I kind of like jump back and forth, be to view myself and my progress of my self journey, like from different points of view, and which makes me multidimensional, right? Like I'm multidimensionally like going and jumping from these different levels of consciousness, different levels of thought, like different viewpoints and different perspectives, just to view what I'm doing. Which it's cool. It's like being in the petri dish and observing the petri dish and observing the one that's observing the petri dish, right? And being the actual like microscope, right? So, so for me, you know, for the garden to be abundant is to apply water, sunlight, and nutrients, right? Nutrients to me then is like the recycled waste from the old memories or patterns or from the past. So the compost. So the nutrients are from the past as compost for the future. And then sunlight being attention, because all of that is alive needs the sunlight, right? But definitely in a garden, like it needs the sunlight, it needs attention. And then water being compassion, right? And I think all of that together, so like the past, paying attention to these things and compassion, it's how I'm it's how I'm able to keep my garden going. Same thing though, I still wanna put boundaries around my garden so that like animals don't come in and try to like eat my plants, right? I don't want anything trying to come in and like mess up what I'm doing because like I care about myself. Like I care about my own progress. So like and I care about my like overall quality of life. Like going back to like number one and number two, like making memories, like beautiful moments, and having an excellent quality of life. So, yeah. Um, what did I put here? How we handle ourselves in seed form continues to expand, and that goes to expansion too. Like, oh, like, that's so true. Like, I feel like I had abandoned my own garden at some point. So I feel like I abandoned myself at some point in my growth, and I had to go back and like, forgive myself for abandoning myself and just, like, kinda, like, just letting it all just grew, all of the seeds and all of it, and I had no idea what was even there, and it just went wild, right? And it was wild, and that's beautiful in and of itself, but, it's also kinda, like, dangerous because there's, like, dangerous plants in there. It's like, "Oh, look, it's an apple." "No, that's not an apple." Like, you don't wanna eat that, you know? So Um, it wasn't necessarily a good thing for me, and that's where I've learned in my journey and, like, the wisdom I've gained about, like, boundaries. Huge for me, huge, because I'm like, "Ah, it's just let it grow." Wild. Um, but hopefully I will never abandon my garden again, and, um, and hopefully, like, it's worth all the work that I'm doing to maintain it. Um, and if there are thorns and, like, thorny poisonous plants, like, how can I expect a new seed, like, or a new thought pattern or a new habitual behavior that I wanna implement in my life? Like, how do I expect that to grow if it's just, like, the whole thing is, like, overrun with, like, thorny plants? You're just gonna, like, if this new seedling tries to grow, it's just gonna be like, yeah, it's not gonna work, right? Um, and why water or give sunlight to the poisonous plants anyway? Like, they're not gonna do anything except for, like, cause damage and chaos. So, in all of this, and I know I always come back to this, but I will always come back to the American dream and to small businesses and to expanding life-giving tree, because that's really what these small businesses are. They're the expansion of somebody, and they are a tree that gives something, whether it's shade. It's trees are homes for other creatures, okay, in the woodland area, like, in the forest and woods, right? So, little wood creatures. So, trees provide a lot of things, among, actual fruit, but without without all of these life-giving things, ah, and we are ourselves, like, just like we are not trees, we are humans, but we are, like, making ourselves into trees. Like, we are making ourselves into these beautiful life-giving trees, like, these beautiful life-giving small businesses that provide services or products that help others improve their overall quality of life, and that is so beautiful to me, So, like, it provides fruit, like a service or product, or it provides shade, right? Because it provides I don't like coming up with an analogy, like, it provides shade, like, the taxes that it provides, right? Like, because it's paying taxes, like, it provides that for the whole nation, right? And for the whole community, right? It provides protection, right? Um, and so I think, like, the biggest result, like, the greatest end from our journey, our life journey, and definitely self-growth journey is to become an expansion of ourself in our small business or in our whatever endeavor we're doing. Um, for me, it's small business because I mean, honestly, that's, like, how we're engineered. It's just how we were engineered, like, it's how nature works. It's like that. Like, it's like a capitalist society. There's trading and bartering, and yeah, there's a little survival of the fittest and stuff, but, like, this provides this, and this whole circle of life, it's the same thing, like, it's beautiful. I love it. Um, yeah, I put that, a beautiful life-giving blessing possible through the free market economy and capitalism. I love capitalism. So, thank you so much for listening. I was wanting to finish that one actually today, so I'm glad that I did. I think I went over the time that I wanted to go, but, I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for hanging out with me. I have made, like, all the different live platforms, people to do interacting and stuff like that. Even to the point of like little pop-up things on my screen and stuff at some point. You can do that, so that's fun. Thank you for listening. I love interacting and the conversation, back and forth conversation. Like right now. Hold on one second. Guitarra says, a farmer once told me the soil is like your environment, the seed is like your gift, and the rain water is like your care for it. For if it never rains, how then can you grow? And if the soil is bad, how then can you expect abundance? And if you never plant your seed, how can you expect it to become what it was made to be, right? Me also just saying stuff I thought sounded cool. Farmer never told me that. No worries. But I mean, it. I'm gonna use so many analogies. Like I have a lot, but different analogies like make sense differently at different times or whatever. And I use many analogies to try to reinforce my own efforts because sometimes I have doubt, right? I sometimes I'm like, why am I doing this? Like I like, why do I care? Like and I doubt comes in. Like no matter how chipper I am or hopeful or anything like that, like I still have doubt too. And to combat it, I have all of these analogies that I've laid out for myself that help me come back to, like your self journey, like your life journey, your journey of self. That's literally what matters the most. And it'll just continue to expand. So like get that right first, right? Because I've seen alternatives. I've seen the different cases where that wasn't done first, and and I've seen I've experienced so much so, Also, I'm getting more comfortable with, like, all of this podcasting stuff, right? And kinda just, like, letting it be well, thinking about the things that I care about. That's what I care about the most is the self journey. I think I'm not the only one. I think I'm not the only one that cares about the self journey, the journey of self, the life journey. Life's journey is amazing, is beautiful if we're seeing the beauty and the magic of it, which is our own self, which is the development and growth of our own self. Like that is the miracle, And so it comes back to like love. It'll always come back to love. In my opinion, I'll always it'll always get back to that. But thank you for listening. This is the Life of Sadie Nichole official podcast. If you enjoyed my show, be sure to subscribe, follow, and show me some love in the comment section below, like many have already. Thank you so much. Rest Day is coming up. I put reminders in the events calendar on my website. The link is in the description below. I just finished creating some merch. It's available now. So score some merch and join my gaming sesh on Rest Day live here on Rumble, YouTube, and Twitch. Have a wonderful, blessed day, and may all of your dreams come true. Tune in next time for another episode of the Life of Sadie Nichole official podcast.